Greetings, everybody. This is Marcel Williams again. I hope you are keeping well and safe. Once again, thank you for allowing me into your personal space. I really appreciate it. Today, I want to just talk to you about COVID-19 and the lockdown. You know, it has made many of us to be more on our phones every day than before. We're daily bombarded by messages of encouragement and information on our WhatsApps, messages and SMSs. So many of us have got to the point where we are very selectively choosing what we view and ignoring quite a few other things, or perhaps not even reading it, because it's so much of it. And it is for this reason that I purposely make my talks short, topical, including current affairs, and trying to avoid preaching. We have quite a lot of that already. My aim, therefore, is to make people aware. I often use the term what if. I present you with the what if question, so that I don't sound too opinionated. I try to be diplomatic, and because there are various viewpoints and one doesn't want to cut everybody out. So concerning the way we behave and how we look at things, generally people live like shocking, cataclysmic changes won't occur. But there are so many shocking changes in the past. There's so many examples of how things could change almost overnight. I've made a list of some so that I can present this view that we need to be prepared for eventualities, sudden changes and so forth. Back in the beginning of 2020, as we entered the year, many of us could never dream of, in our wildest imagination, that the world would be changed so radically as a result of this COVID-19. The lockdowns, how the economies were affected, and how jobs were lost. It's become a norm for us to be wearing masks and sanitization and a whole host of things that have changed in society and have become the new normal. Another one is back in 2016, Donald Trump, a non-politician, a businessman, shockingly beat Hillary Clinton and became the United States president. That was a big shock. Many of us will remember, thirdly, that there used to be a country called the USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and they were engaged in a superpower struggle with the United States of America, which we called the Cold War. And we could never have dreamed that that country would come to an end. And it did. There's no longer a USSR. And then if you look closely also in the past, Berlin, the capital of Germany before, was divided as a result of the Second World War into East Berlin and West Berlin, and East Germany and West Germany. Yet that Berlin Wall that we all imagined would be there forever came down. And East and West Germany were united. And East Berlin and West Berlin was no longer, it was one Berlin. And then the fifth point is, those of us that lived through apartheid, white domination, several decades of it, and it was a brutish system. And many of us would have thought it would take 50, perhaps more years for it to come to an end. Yet, in 1994, apartheid came to an end and we were in a new democratic South Africa. Back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, when the struggle was on, many people never believed that this country would be ruled by a black president and black people in parliament. Yet it has happened. That's a big shocking change for many people, especially the older folk. A very big one was after 2,000 years, Israel became a state again. You know, it was never believed that that could happen, yet in 1948 it happened. So with all these shocking changes, why do we live like huge changes could never occur? You know, in the Bible, there's several prophecies that are pending to be realized. For instance, the invasion of Israel by Russia and its allies, the so-called Gog and Magog in Ezekiel 38 in the Old Testament. There's also the defeat of Russia and its allies. That's a big story there too. That's still to happen. Then there's the total destruction of the city of Damascus. Total destruction that you find in Isaiah 17. And this is just to name a few. So let us stay prayerful and watch, as the Bible says. So I'll conclude there and say, stay safe, stay well, until next time.